Hello everybody, this is your boy Yason back again with another YouTube tutorial. So in today's tutorial we are going to design the website called JiJi. JiJi is an international website. It's a classified website for selling every kind of item. You can post your item on JiJi and then sell them there. So what we are going to build, I have it right now here. This is the demo of what we are going to design, and actually this is the design I came up with of JiJi, and this is the original site of JiJi. As you can see, the design here, it is similar. Yeah, so we are going to design this application, this web application from scratch, and you are going to learn how to design something beautiful like this. So for those of you who doesn't know JiJi is actually an international classified website, and as you can see there is a lot of countries here that actually JiJi is operating in. We have Nigeria, Kenya, Tanzania, Ghana, Ethiopia, we have Senegal, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka. JiJi is actually operating in those countries, so it's absolutely an amazing tutorial we are going to learn together with you people. So this is the end product. This is our end product, what we are going to come up with. As you can see here from the URL, it is still under my development environment. So this is what we are going to design together with you guys in this video. So before we get started into the designing of this web application, I'll be happy and grateful if you really give me a like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. That one really helps me a lot and really motivates me to create such amazing content like this. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so here as you can see, I've opened a VS Code, and it is actually empty VS Code, but as you can see here in the top right, I have a folder called JiJi YouTube clone. So I'm just going to drag and drop it inside of my VS Code, and then I'm going to open this one in a big screen. So here I have only a basic starter file for our project. As you can see, I have a folder called assets, whereby I have all my photos and SVG files I'm going to use in this tutorial. And then I have index.html, which is only like the boilerplate for our application. So I just here link I link my JavaScript file here, and then here this is the CND, or the content delivery network, for box icon. For those of you who doesn't know box icon provide us with different kind of icons. So in our project, as you can see, we have icon somewhere here and then icon somewhere here. So we are using box icon to help us with those icons, and here is a script for box icon, and here also I linked it in our CSS in the header. So this is the CSS part for box icon. And in my JavaScript, as you can see, the JavaScript is currently empty. It is just this junk here, and I'm going to explain to you what it is exactly. And in our CSS, our CSS is empty, so we are going to start from scratch. And so let's get it started. So before we start writing anything, before I started writing the code, please hit that like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. That one really helps a lot. So let's get started with it. So as you can see in our structure, we want a header. From here, as you can see, we want the header, and then the header which contains actually it is the navigation. So we want to implement this navigation and then this banner. Let me close this one here. So I'm going to give it I'm going to put everything in a nav. So I'm using nav. like I'm using here in this tutorial, I'm going to use a symmetric HTML elements. So if you don't know the symmetric HTML elements, like these are the modern HTML elements that are normally being used. So I have the nav, and then in the nav I want article, and then I'm going to give it the class name of left. So in our left article is where I want the logo of JiJi. So I'm going to put the logo in an image, and then I'm going to go to this path and then take JiJi logo. I have its logo here, so I'm going to just leave the code, like the code on the GitHub. You can find everything there. All the resources I've been using here, you'll find them on a GitHub, so you can customize and use it to make it easy. So I'm going to give you the class name of logo in the image, and then I want another article, and then this article I'm going to give you the class name of right. So inside this article we have the sign up, we have this sign in and registration, then the sales. So this is where all these are going to. Alright, I'm going to give an article. In this article I want to give it a class name. I want to give it a class name of okay, I will not give a class name to this one because we are going to use this as sign in. The same way for the registration. If I can spell. So this is what we want, and then from there we want the article with the class of cell now, whereby it's going to be our button, and then we are going to design it from there. So I'm going to say cell, but I have to put it in caps. Alright, so I'm going to open this file in a browser using live server to open it in the browser. Before I proceed, I have to first link my CSS file, because sometimes I used to forget to link my CSS file. So let me link my CSS file here. So as you can see, this is what we get, and then we have to go and play around in the CSS. The first thing I'm going to select the universal operator and then give it a padding of 0, because I don't want those spaces. As you can see, there's a white spaces out there. I want to target everything and take them out. And the margin is going to above 0 also. And then I want to give it a box sizing to be border box. And I'm going to use a font family. The font family I'm going to use, it is called Arial Helvetica Sans Serif. This is the font family I'm going to use here. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, this is the same font family JiJi is also using in their website. So let me target the body, and then in the body I want to give it just a background color. And then the background color, I'm going to give it this color code of F4, 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 4F, like this. So this is the background color I'm going to use. So let me now start with my navigation, with my nav. In my nav, I want to give it a display flex. I want to justify everything to space between, justify content is space between. And then I'm going to align everything to be in the center, align item to be equal in the center. So I'm going to give it a background color. The background color is going to be this color code, which is 00 B8 and then 24. So this is the color code I'm going to use. It is kind of green color. So I have to give it a position of a sticky because I want, like, when someone is scrolling, I don't want it to move. I just want it to be there static. So I'm going to give it a position of a sticky at first, and then I'm going to give from top. I want it to be at 0 just. Then box shadow, I'm going to give it some box shadow. I'm going to say 1 pixel, 2 pixels. Let me put this on 1 pixel and then this on 2 pixels, and then RGB code. But before the RGB, we want to put this on RGB, which contains the alpha. A stands for the alpha, and then the color code, which is 7575, and then 0.75. So this is the box shadow I want to give it, and then I'm going to give it some padding, and then the padding is going to be from left and from top and right, top and bottom to be 0, and left and right to be 2 rems like that. And then I want the Z index because I want it to be up to be 99. So if I save the file and then come to my browser, hit refresh, and as you can see, there's nothing still happening here, but you can see like our application is kind of taking place. We have this flex as taking effect. So we have to now work with our logo, but first I have to target the left because the left is where our logo is. And I'm just going to give it a width, and then the width is going to be of 80 pixel, and I want to give it a height of also 80 pixels because I want it to be equal size. I'm going to say 80 pixels. This is for the left. So from there we have to target now our logo. So our logo is inside the left, which is a child of the left, and then it has a class of logo, which is now it is our exact image. So I'm going to just give it a width. The width is going to be of 100%. Width of 100% is going to take like the whole container of 80 pixels. So it is not going to be very big. And then I'm going to give it a height of also 100%. Since we have here it is percent. We have here the height of 80, and it is also going to take that height. Okay, so we want to give it an object fit of cover. Let it cover our element. So as you can see here, we have it. It is now kind of beautiful. Our logo is there, and then we're good to go. And if you're not seeing the box shadow, you can see it is here. If I can zoom it for you, you can see the box shadow is here. There's some shadow, so that is it, and it is amazing like that. So from there we have to target now the right. Remember, we have the class of right, which contains our sign in and registration. So it is inside the right. So I want to just give it a display of flex. I want to display it to flex, and then I want to give it a gap. The gap, I'm going to give it a gap of 30 pixels, which is kind of a big gap. And then I'm going to give it alignment. So I want to align everything to be in the center. So that's what I want from there. And I want everything in this right to be what? To be colored as white. The text is going to be white in color, so I'm going to say color of white, like this. Perfect. So from there, let me get the cell. As you can remember, the cell is the button we have in our HTML. It has a class of cell. As you can see here, the button has a class of cell. So this is what we are targeting. We want to give it a design also. So the first thing I'm going to give it a background color of orange. This is the background color I'm going to use, and then I'm going to give it a padding, and then the padding is going to be of 10 pixels. I want to give it a border radius, and then the border radius I'm just going to give it something small, which is 3 pixels. And I want to give it the color because I want the text color to be white. I'm going to give it a color, and then I want the color to be white. So I'll give it also a width to our button, so that the button will be kind of big. So the width I'm going to give it just 100%, 100 pixels I mean. So I'm going to text align everything to the center, text align to center, so that the text will be in the center of the button. So if I save the file and then come here, as you can see, beautiful, our application is taking effect now. Yeah, so perfect. The next thing is now we have to work on our brand. As you can see in the end result here, we want this brand here, everything here. So I'm going to open my HTML. So outside of this one now, outside of nav, make sure to put the comments. Sometimes I forgot to put the comments, but putting comments, it is actually a way of organizing your code so that someone can also be able to read your code. So I'm going to give it a class of brand, a section with a class of brand, and then inside the section I'm going to give an article with a class of location. I'm going to say location and then search, because here we are going to have the location and then the search input. So that's why I called it location search. And then I want a p tag. The p tag is going to say find. I'm going to say find anything in. So I'm going to say span here. I'm going to say span. So inside the span, I want to give the span a class name of country, because it is going to take the country name. As I told you, JiJi is actually everywhere. So like here, and I'm going to give it a country, and then I'm going to use I, and this I actually, it is going to be the icon we are going to use for our application. So as you can see in our end result here, we have this icon here. So this icon, I'm just going to give it I'm going to use an icon from a box icon. So this is the way you can write icons in box icons. So I'll leave the link to box icon in the description, so that you can go and read the documentation about box icon, how to work with the box icons. I think it is a great resource. So this is it. We want the location plus ours is going to have plus sign, because I went through the documentation, but I didn't find any icon which is kind of exactly with that one of JiJi. So I'm going to give an article here with the class of container. I'm going to say container hyphen search. So this is going to be now for the search input, where we are going to put the search input in. And then in the search input, I want to say input. Then I want to give it a placeholder. Oops. Let me give it a placeholder, and then the placeholder will say I am looking for. three dots. Remember, inputs are self-closing tags, so we have to close it. And then from there we want the icon now. That search icon, we have to put it inside our span, and then I'm going to say bx, and then bx hyphen search. So this is the icon name. Alright, if I save the file and then I come to the end point, the end result here, as you can see, this is what we have, and we have to now give it some styling, some designing, so that it will look elegant as we want, as expected. So let's switch back to our CSS now. The first thing I'm going to target the brand. Remember, I give it a class of brand, so I want to give it a background color. So the background color, I'm just going to give it the same background color like the nerve here, because I want the background color to be the same. It is actually what it is there in the application we are cloning. So I think this one is enough because it is only the background color we want from here. And then from there we go for the location. Remember, we have written that class of location search, and then in the location search I want to give it a display of flex. I want to bring everything to the center, so I'm going to say alignment of everything to be center. Why I'm putting alignment to the center? Because here I'm going to say flex direction to be column like this, so it can bring the items in the center or in the middle of the page. And then let me just give it some padding, and then the padding I'm going to give it a 5 rem, top and bottom, left and right to be 0. So if I save the file, as you can see, it is now in the center. So let's work and put some styling to our inputs, to our header. Yeah, so I'm going to target this class, and then remember, inside the class we have that paragraph that says find anything in Uganda or Sri Lanka or yeah, wherever you are. So this paragraph, I'm going to give it a color first. I want the color to be white, and then I'm going to give it a margin, the margin from bottom. I'm going to give it a margin from bottom, and the margin is going to be of 3 rems, like that. That one is perfect now. So inside our paragraph we have that span, and the span actually displays the country with the icon. So I'm going to give the class the color of white. I'm going to give it a background color. The background color is going to be of black. Then from there I'm going to display it as inline block. Display is inline block, like that. Why I'm giving it a display of inline block? Because if I put this padding, I want the padding to be applied in every side of the element. So I'm going to give it a padding of 4 pixels, and then I want to give it a slight border radius, and then the border radius is going to be of 3 pixels also, something small just. So if I save the file and then I come here, as you can see, we have our icon there and it is looking amazing. So one thing we have to put now, we have to add now our country name in the icon here. So as you can see, it is here, and here is where we are going to write our country name. So you can write where you are or the country name you're developing this app for, but I'm going to say Uganda. And remember, this is all Uganda, like this. In the website it is like that. So if I save the file and then come here, then you can see it is kind of amazing. So this is what we have achieved now. So back to our CSS. Remember, we want to now work with this input. So to do that, we have to come back to our CSS, and the input is inside the search container, the container search. So I'm going to say class of container, if I can spell, and then give it search. Container dash search. I'm going to first give it a padding. I want to give it a padding of 10 pixels, and then I want to give it a width. I want to give it the width which is going to be 500 pixel, kind of long. And then background color, I want to give it a background color of white. So let me give it some border radius, also something slight, and okay, it is going to be like 3 pixels, which is going to be okay. So if you don't know why we are putting this on, because as you can see in our endpoint, in our end result here, the icon and the input, they are actually inside a div element. So that's why we are using our whatever, we are using this div element, which is the container search, to give it a background color, and then we are going to disable all the inputs. Yeah, as you can see, this is what we are expecting. So we are going to display the border from disable the border from input, so that we cannot see border or any outline. Remember, here we are seeing the border, and when I'm trying to type something in, you can see the outline is coming up. So we have to, the focus, it is coming up. So we want to clean all those up. So for us to clean those ones, let me just bring this code down, and then inside this one we have the input which is a child to the container search. So I'm going to give it a width first. I want to give it a width. I want the width to be of 95%, like this. It is going to take 95% of this one, 500 pixels. So that's why we are putting this. And then I'm going to give it some padding, and then the padding is going to be of 7 pixels. And then I want to take the border. Remember, I told you that I want to remove the border out. If I save the file and then I come here, as you can see, it is there. So what I mean, like this, it is not showing, but when I put my cursor on and I'm trying to type something, you can see there's a border around it, and that one, it is now the outline. So we want to remove the outline out now. I'm going to say outline to none also. So if I save the file and then come back here, and then you can see now there's no outline in our application. Perfect. So we are done with this one, and everything is looking cool. Yeah. So let's come back to our HTML, and then want to now implement. I'm sorry for that. So sorry. Want to implement this one, the categories and all this. So we have to come back to our HTML and then give it a class of first thing I have to give it a comment. Let me think of something to put there. Okay, let me just give it a categories. I'll just give it a category like that. So here we want something, we want a section, and then which you can take our category, and it can also take some the other ads or all our products. So first thing, we're going to give it a section, and then the section I'm going to give it a class name. So the class name, I'm going to give it a class name of container like that. Perfect. So inside the container, as you can see, we have two children inside the container. We have this one, the category, and this one. These are two children. So I'm going to say child 1 and child 2. So inside child 2 we have two children. Child 1 has one, is just single, and child 2 has two children in it. So here I'm going to say article with the class of category, because this is the category side, so that's why I'm putting it category. I'm giving it the class name of category, and the other one I'm going to just give it a class name of other or others. Others will be amazing. Like this. So we have to work around now here inside our category. What do we want? So in our category, as you can see from the end result, we have the category here. It is showing the what, the category image, the category name, and then the category ad. So that one want to put a class, whatever, want to write a card, and in the card we want to display the image, and want to display the image and the text, which gives the name of the image. So for us to do that, first thing I'm going to give it a article, the class of card. Inside this article with the class of card, as I told you, we want image first, and then the image I'm going to use, it is going to be like, let me use these default images, the images I have here. I'm going to use this on vehicles.png. So after this one, remember, as you can see here, they are not staying in the same line. So for us to display those two texts, we have to put an article also, that a container that can wrap for us those two texts. So I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to say this is vehicles, a category of vehicles, and then I'm going to give the number of ads which are here. So I'm going to say 124 ads are here, like this. So this is now looking perfect. And then if I save the file and then come to my end result here, as you can see, we have this category, and it has an image and the text. So we have to come into our CSS and then work and give it a styling, give a styling to our category now. So first thing first, I have to target this category. But before targeting the category, I have to give the container, because the container is our wrapper. But anyways, yeah, let's first target the container, because the container is our everything. So we work systematically. So I don't know, here I'm going to say category. Just, you can give it whatever name you want. This is just comment for you to understand what you're doing. And I have the class of container. Inside the class of container, I want to give it first a width, and then the width, I'm going to be giving it a width of 90%, and then if I'm giving the width of 90%, I have to give it a margin. The margin is going to be from top. I want something of one rem margin from top, and then left and right to be auto, so that it can bring the container to the center of the element. So from there, I want to give it a display of flex. Remember why we are giving this display of flex, because it has two children. The container has two children of category and others, so we want to display it as flex so that they can be side by side. That's why we are giving that display of flex. And then I want to just give it some gap, and then the gap I'm going to give it of 20 pixels. So this is what we want in our container. Here, if I can see like this, nothing much taking effect here, but you can see our category is now somewhere here. Okay, so we have to work on our category now. I'm going to target the class of category. I have this class of category in my HTML. So I want to give it a box shadow. But the box shadow, I remember I've used the box shadow up here at the top when I'm creating this, when I'm designing the nav. So I'm just going to reuse this box shadow here. Perfect. So after reusing this box shadow, and then I want to give it a position of a sticky. Or before using, okay, let me just give it a position of a sticky. When it is scrolling to reach some point at the top of 100 pixels, I want it to stop. Perfect. As you can see, this is our category, and it is coming. It is taking effect. As you can see, we have our shadow is now there, our box shadow. So remember, inside the category we have the class name of cat. So we target that one and then give it a display of flex, because it has two children in it. Give it a display of flex, and then I want to align everything to be center. Align items on it to be center, and then I want to give it a padding. The padding is going to be of 1 rem, and the padding is going to apply in every side of our cut. So as you can see, this is it. Our cut is also looking good now. Perfect. Now from there, we want like the card, we want something like when you hover over it, it has to give you some different background color. So I'm going to take the class of card, and then I'm going to say hover, and then when we hover it, we want to give it a background color of gray. So this is the color code I'm going to use, JiJi. It is actually very amazing, and we want that little kind of finger so that a person or a user can know that actually is in the right, he or she is in the right place. So I'm going to say it is a pointer, and then the padding is going to be the same. I'm going to give it a padding of 1 rem also. So if I come here, then you can see it is taking effect. So I want to duplicate this one a few more times. We're duplicating the cut. So if I duplicate the cut a few more times, 1, 2, 3, I save the file and then come here. Then you can see we have 3 cuts now here, which is perfect. It is looking amazing though. So in our cut, we want something like, want the color of the text to be different. So in order for me to do that, I'm just going to hard code it. I'm going to come here and then give it a class, and then the class name, I'm going to give it a style. But remember, in the endpoint, you see it is only the vehicle that has different color, but the number of arts is black in color. So it means this class, we have to put it in the name of the element. So I'm going to give it a style, and then the style is going to be of, let me say, color green. No, this is not how you write it, I'm sorry. It is going to be style like this, and then color. The color is going to be of green like this. Perfect. So let's see our end result. Perfect, we have this color of green here, so this is what we want. And currently, as you can see, we are hard coding things, so we have to go into our JavaScript and then at least do it, like make it dynamically. Yeah, at least make it dynamically. So I'm going to clean everything from here to here. I'm going to clean them out. I'm just going to leave only like one cut. So even this one, I have to clean it out. So this one is perfect like this. So this is the only cut we have in our website. So we want to manipulate these ones in JavaScript. So let's open our JavaScript. As you can see, let me just give you the clue of what we are going to do. I'm going to say cons because we are going to work with categories, so I'm going to say categories, and then it is going to take the array. It is going to take array of objects, and then inside every category we have, the image of the category, we have the name of the category, and then we have the number of ads in the category. So I can store the image in a property name called img, and then the name of the category, and then the number of ads. I'm just going to give it ads, and then the number is going to be like this. This is the number, and then here the category name. The category name is called vehicles, and then here is the path to your image. Where exactly is the image you want to call it from? So as you can see, this is the path to our image. So I'm just going to copy this one and then come here, then put it here just. So this is where it is going to be. From there we have our first category. I will just duplicate this code. Let me duplicate this one to make it 2. So as you can see, we have now 2 categories in our category array, or in a category list. So for us to display all those 2 categories in our HTML, we have to first loop through the category. We have to first look through these categories and then get each category and display them inside our HTML. So to do that, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take this class of category. I'm going to call it in my JavaScript. So to call that one, I'm going to come to my JavaScript and I'm going to say cons category equals to document dot query selector, and then the query selector is going to select what? Is going to select the class name of categories. Remember, I'm saying the class name of categories, it's this class name here, this class name of this category we are calling. So we are getting this category. So here we got the category, and then what we want to do is now we want to look through this category list, and then we want to display everything inside this category list. For us to do that, we have to come down here, and then I'm going to say categories. Remember, our array here is called categories, so we want to call it categories, and then there's a function in array called map. So in this map, I'm going to take only like one category. I would call it item or cart. It is all the same, whatever you want to call. So in this cart, it is actually arrow function. So in this cart is where we want to, how do we want our category to look like? So remember, we have the design here, and actually in our HTML, this is what we want. We want it to look like this cart. So I'm going to copy this card. I'm just going to cut it off from here and then save the file. Yeah, you can see there's nothing showing here because we are going to display dynamically using our JavaScript. So here I want our category to be in a content, a constant with a class constant of content, and then I'm going to use this backticks, which is a template literal in JavaScript where you can inject dynamic data in it. So this is what we want our category to look like. We want our category to look like this one. Alright, let me just format things here. Okay. So this is how we want our category to look like. So how are we going now to display it in our HTML? So remember here we have this image name and ads. So these ones we want it to be shown in our category card. So to do that we'll come here, like in the link or in the src. I'm just going to say $, and then double parenthesis. This double parenthesis means like I want to inject a dynamic data here. So in order for me to get the image, to get the img file here, I have to come through this card, and inside the card is where our image is located. So I'm going to say cut dot, and then as you can see we have the img, the name, and the ad. So I want the img is where our image is. The same applies to this one. The same applies to this, the name, and then I'm going to say cut dot the name, and this one also applies to our ads. So I'm going to say cut dot the ads. So this one I'm just going to leave it ads because it is going to show there. It is a static content and it is going to show there just ads. So this one is currently not doing anything because we are not showing anything in our application or in our web page. As you can see, I saved the file and here there's nothing showing. So in order for us to now display it inside our HTML, remember we are getting this category here. We are calling it, and which is the same category we have in our HTML, this one. So we want all the children from JavaScript, all the category to enter there. So for us to do that, we can come down here after this semicolon. I'll just say category. Remember I called it with the class with the variable name of category. So dot, I'll give it dot inner HTML. So I want everything which is inside it to be equals to the content, which is the content here. Remember the content is the variable of what we want our category to looks like. So if I set this one, you can see we can see only one category, but we have like two categories in our array. What is the reason? The reason behind it is because here we are overriding it. So for us to do, we want to append because we have a lot of category on it. So for us to do, we have to append, say plus equals to this one, and then save the file. And then when it refreshes, so you can see we have our list of categories here. So this is what we want to achieve in this video, and for us to do that now, we have to manipulate and put all the categories we have. And I just gave you the demo of this one because I want you to understand what it is, what we are doing. But I'm going to remove this because I have already set up what I want for this. And as you can see, I have the bunch of list of categories here. So I'm going to use all those bunch of categories I have here. So I'm going to uncomment this one, and then I'll just hit save here once again. And then if I come back to my application, as you can see, these are the list of categories I have now. But as you can see, it is not giving us the name. It is saying the name is undefined because here I gave it a name of card, not name. So we have to come to our HTML here and then change this one to be name, to be card, from name, like this. So if I save the file and then come back here, refresh, so you can see our category has now the name, properties, and all those stuff. It has all its name there. So this is amazing, and this is exactly what we want to achieve. Back to our HTML. In our HTML, so we are done with the category. So we want to now manipulate our others. So in our others, what do we want to what do we want our application to looks like? Okay, from the structure of the end application, as you can see, as I told you before, the others has two children, and the children are the first art here, this and this one, whereby it is going to render all the trending ads we have. So for us to do, for us to do that, want to give it two children, want to give it two children, and then let me just keep writing the code. I'm going to say the first child is going to have a top underscore others. This is the first child, and the second child, I'm just going to give it a class of trending article with a class of trending, like that. If I can spell trending like this here. So inside this top others, what we want to display is, first want to display the ads, and then our button that say post, this button here and this one. So for us to do that, the first thing, I'm going to give it an article with a class of ads. That's the first thing, because this is where we are displaying just ads here. And then I'm going to give it an image. Remember that art is actually an image. If you visit the official website, this one is an image. They just use an image and then put the image as a link. So that is it. But I'm going to use the image. I'm not going to make it a link, but you get the point. It is easy to make it a link, to convert it to be a link. So I'm going to say how to buy. This is the image I want. So the same applies to the other one. Remember, we have two. And then this one, I'm going to give it a class name of post also. And then in this post, I have the image also. Of their image is called selling, like this. So these are the two images I'm using here. So we have to give now some designing also to the ads, and then let me come to the end point, the end result. As you can see, we have now the ad and then the button here. So we want it to be display flex and all those stuff. So let's come to our CSS first. I'm going to give it a comment here and say ads like this, but you can give it whatever you want, whatever that can makes you understand. So the first thing, I'm going to get that the class of top others. In the class of top others, I want to display everything to be flex. That's the first thing. And then secondly, I want to give it some gap, because currently they are in horizontal form or in column form, and I want them to be vertically. That's why I'm giving the display of flex. So if I save the changes and then come here, hit refresh, as you can see, it is now vertically. Is it vertical or horizontally? I don't know. So it is now looking amazing. So this is what we want. Alright. So from there I have to target the images because I want to first give for whatever I want. Yeah, this one is looking okay, but I have to just add some basic stylings to it. The first thing I want to target the what? The art, the class of arts. And then in this class of arts, I want to give it a flex of 3 because I want this one to be the longest one, and it is going to be a flex of 3. And then I want a box shadow to it because there's some shadow on it, so I'm going to reuse my shadow in every shadow element I'm going to use. So this is the shadow I'm going to use in this one, and I want to give it actually the image. Let me say arts, and then in the arts I want the img, and then I want to give it a width and height. So it is going to be a width and height of 100%, which is going to take the same width and height like the parent, and then I'm going to say height of also 100%, and then this one is like this is now perfect. I'm just going to copy this one and bring it down like this, and instead of this one I'm going to change this one to be post like that. But here I don't want post to have a flex of 3. I want it to be 1 because our post is shortest. It is the shortest button actually, as you can see. So I'm going to save and then come back, and as you can see, perfect. We have our shadow, and then we have our shadow in our elements. So everything is looking great now. And as you can see, if I scroll here, it is staying static then now, and everything looks nice, and it is actually kind of the same now, right? Alright, so let's proceed now. So we are done with we are done now with the post styles, the top others. Then we want to come now to our trending. So in our trending, the first thing we are going to target in our trending, want to target the what? Want to give it a head for, which is the title of our trending, like this. It is the title of the products actually. It is the trending products, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So in these trending products, I want a what? I want article. And then the article, I'm just going to give it a class of trending. Does container. So inside this trending, I want to put a what? I want to give it some cut item where we are going to display our products in. That's the first thing. We are going to display our products and then show some dynamic content on it. So the first thing, I have to give it an article. Inside this one, I want to give it an article with the class of trending hyphen cut. If I can type cut like this, perfect. So inside this trending hyphen cut, in the cut I want an image. Let me come to the end result. As you can see, we have the image, and then we have some, it's a cut image and some text inside it. So I want an image. Let me target an image, and then in the image I'm just going to use a random image here. I have a lot of images here, so I'm going to come here and then image like this, and then I'm going to use this image first. Alright, so after this image, we want to display our text now. I'm going to say class of description. Let me say description like this. So the description is going to be like, it is going to be called cut description hyphen cut description like this. So inside the cut description, I have, like, let me say, as you can see, we have, it is showing like the total number of photos of the whatever of this product. It is here 7, here is 2, and here is that's 1, and all those. So we can also put that on here. I'm going to hard code this one. I'm going to say article. I'm just going to give it a class of semi-cycle, class of semi-cycle. That is the first thing, and then I'm just going to give it here. Perfect. So after this one, we want the article, and then in this article I'm going to give it a class of cycle now. Instead of semi-cycle, I'm going to give it a cycle, and then I'm going to put the icon, because these are the icons. As you can see, these are the icons we want, so I'm going to put the icon here also. So the icon is going to have a class, the class of bx, and then bx hyphen, and then I'm going to say bookmark. So this is the name of the icon. You can check that the documentation of the whatever of box icon to see all those. Yeah. So here I want to give it some styling. I'm going to give it a font size, the first thing, and then the font size is going to be 18 pixels. This is an inline CSS for those of you who doesn't know. So after giving the font size, I want to show the whatever the product name and then the product price. So I will come here after this one. I'm going to say article, or let me just put it in head 4 because it is going to be our title, and then let me say sporting wear. If I can, sporting wear here. Perfect. So after the sporting wear, I'm just going to Uganda shillings, and then the price is going to be like this, 2,435 Uganda shilling. So I'm just going to save this file and then come to our end result here. If I come here, you can see we have our product here, and then we have everything. It's now looking nice. So we have to just give it some stylings so that we can wrap up with the trending products stuffs. So come back to our CSS now. In our CSS, we want to take now the first thing in our application. We have to first know what we are doing. We have to organize our code. So I have to write here trending. So what do we want here? I want to first target the head. I have the class of trending, which has the child of head 4. Alright. I want to give the head 4 a font size, and then the font size I'm going to give it of 20 pixels. That's the first thing I have to do, and then I'm going to give it a boldness, font weight of bold. I want it to be like kind of compact or impacted, but it is called font weight, not font family. It is called font weight, like this. So the font weight is going to be bold, and then I want to give it some margin from top. To be at least of 2 rem, and then give it a background color. Okay, let me say margin from top. I'm going to give it a 2 rems, and then I want to give it a color. The color, I'm going to give it kind of black color, but it is kind of like that. Wow, this is nice. If I save the file and then come here, you can see we have nice trending, and then I have to now target the container of our trending. I'm going to say trending hyphen container. In the trending hyphen container, I want to display to be having the display to be a grid display. That's it. And then I want it to have 4 columns. So I'm going to say grid template columns. Grid template column of 1FR, 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 1FR. So from there, I'm going to give some gaps. And then the gaps, I'm going to give it 10 pixels. So here you cannot see anything, it is not taking any effect because we have only one item here, but if we add the items, you'll see the effect. So let me just add the item so that you can see the effect. We can know that actual our application is working. So this is what we want to add. We just have to come here, copy, and then paste it a few more times, 4 times, and then save it like this. But at some reason it is not taking it, so this is why we have to know why it is not taking it. First thing, we have to see what we are doing. I copied the wrong thing. If you spot it out, you spot it out. Yeah, I copied the wrong thing. What we want is this one, the cut. The trending cut is what we want to copy. So I'm just going to copy it a few more times again and then save it. So from here it will work as expected. As you can see, they are now in grid form and they are in 4 grid column. So let's give it some styling to the images, to the image. And first thing, we have to target the cut. Then after working with the cut, then we go for the image. I'm going to set trending and then hyphen cut. Okay, I want to give it the cut a width and height, so I'm going to give it first a width, and the width I want to give it is going to be of 200 pixels, and then I want to give it a height of 200 pixels. Perfect. And then I want to give it some border radius, or border radius like this, and then the border radius I'm going to give it something small like 3 pixels. Then I'm going to give some margin from top and bottom. Margin from top and bottom, I want it to be at least of 3 rems, to be very big, and then left and right to be 0. Perfect. So we want to target now the image actually, which is inside the trending cut. I'm going to say trending hyphen cut, and then I want the img file. So in the img file, I want to give it a width now. The width is going to be of 100%, and then the height is also going to be of 100%. Oops, I put something like 1000%, that one, so yeah. So I want the object fit is going to be cover. I want it to cover the whole cut, but it is going to leave some space in the whatever. I want the image to be like kind of visible, so that not stress out, not stretches and all those stuffs. I don't know if I speak that incorrectly. Okay. And then I'm going to give it a border. The border is going to be from top right and top left. I'm going to say top right, and then top left radius. The border is going to be of 3 pixels, and then bring this one down and just change this one from right to left. This is what you want. Perfect. If I save the file and then I come to the end result, as you can see, our application is taking place. So if you really did it up to this, you watched the video up to this, on this point, please just give me a like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. That really helps a lot. So let's continue. So we have to give now some styling to our description. Remember, we have the cut description in our HTML. So I'm going to say cut dash description like this. That's not how it is. It is like this. Cut description. Then in the cut description, want to give it some padding, want to give, okay, let me just write the padding. Want to give it a padding from top on top of 1 rem, 1.5 rem, that is from top, and then from right of 2 pixels. From bottom, I want from bottom to be of 5 pixels, and then from left of 2 pixels. That's what I want. Perfect, amazing. And then I want to give it a position of relative because we have some children inside our card description which is going to overlap the card description, and we want to give it some shadow, box shadow. So I'm going to copy this box shadow here, and then I'm going to paste this on here. That is that thing. And then we want to give it some borders from left and right. Remember here we give it to the top, but we want now this one to be from bottom. So I'm just going to copy this and then paste them here. So instead of top, I'm going to change the top to be from what? From bottom. That's what I want. Wow, perfect. That one is so quick. As you can see, this one is now looking like a real card, actually, like a real card. So this is what we are expecting actually. Okay, we have paragraph in our description. As you can see, we have paragraph here. So let's target the paragraph. Or the first thing we have to target the, let's go systematically, because if I can see here clearly, in the description, in the card description, we have semicolon and then semicycle and then cycle, then the paragraph is last. So let's target the semicycle first. So in the class of semi-cycle, oops, if I can't type, alright, that is it. So in the class of semi-cycle, I want to give it a background color. The background color is going to be of RGB, and then the RGB color is going to be 40, 46, 41, oops, 41, and then 41 again. This is the background color I want to give it. After giving the background color, I want to give it a width and height, something small. I'm going to say width and height. So the width is going to be of 30 pixels. I want something small, and then the height is going to be of 30 pixels too. And we have the same width and height. Why not giving it some border radius? And remember, from our original template here, it is here. You can see the border radius is kind of in that top right. So this is where we want to put our border radius in. So I'm gonna say border dash top, and then top right radius. That's what we want. And then we want to give it a border radius of 10 pixels. Perfect. And then I'm going to text align everything to the center. I'm going to text align everything to the center, and I'm going to give it a color. So the color is going to be of kind of gray color, which is triple D, and then I'm going to give it a position. Remember, I want to take it up there, so I have to position it absolute to the parent, and then I want to give it from top, because I want it to be from top, and then at least to be negative, to be out of the container of the parent. So I'm going to say negative 34 pixels, and then the left side, and then I want the left side to be 0 because I want it to stick the same like this one, as you can see here. So this is what we are expecting to see. If I save the file and then come back to our browser, and then you can see we have it here. So it is actually the same thing we are trying to achieve, and we achieved it now. So the next thing is now working with our cycle, which is this icon. So back to our CSS, and then take the class of cycle. Cycle like this. Okay, in our cycle, we want to also give it some background colors, some width and height. So I'm just going to copy everything from here. I'm going to copy this one. I love I wonder whatever. I love the width and height, it is okay. But the background color, I just want it to be white in color. That's what I want. Okay, this one looks perfect now. And then second thing, I want this one. I want everything from here to be here. Alright, perfect. So we are going to remove some stuffs out, which is the color. And we want it to be position absolute. Remember, its parent, which is the cut description, is relative positioning, but so we want the child to be absolute, so that we can move around with it also, the same as we move around with the semi-cycle. And then I want it to start from right, at least to be 10 pixels. That is it. And then I want to give it some padding. The padding is going to be of 10 or 6 pixels is okay. Okay, that is it. So the next thing I have to do is to give it some box shadow, because I want it to look like, yo, this is a real background. This is, yeah, something like this. So remember, it is not cycle, but if you come to, yeah, it is here, it is not cycle, but if you come to the original one, you can see the original one here is cycle. So that's what we want to do now. We want to give it a border radius, and then the border radius is going to be 50%. And we have a mistake, and I'll show you guys. So here it is now cycle, but you can see it is now in the left hand side, but we want it to be somewhere in the right. So to do that, we have to change this one. We have to change this one from left to right, like that. Okay, right. If I save now and then come here, then you can see it can come this side now in the right. Boom, that's what we actually want from it. So the next thing is now working with our paragraph. Let me take this space out, I don't want those. So in the cut disk, I want the paragraph, and it's just something simple. I just want to give it some color. I want to give it the color of red is okay. And then from there I just want to give it some padding from top, which is just like that. Then done. Padding from top, then the padding is going to be of 30 pixels. Perfect, right? So let's save the file and then come back here, and you can see everything is now looking good. Everything is looking amazing, and JiJi shop is on the way coming now. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So let's come, and now we want to add our whatever. We want to add the items here to be what? To be dynamically displayed. As you can see, the items are not dynamically displayed. And as I explained, the same like the one of category, it is the same thing we are going to do here. So the first thing, I have to just remove all those ones. Remove this, come here. remove this. We have two more. Yeah, I want to remove this one too. Perfect. So we are just left with only like this one, and then this one, even we don't want it to be here because we are going to take it inside our JavaScript, so we don't want it to be here. So just like that. Perfect. And in our JavaScript, we want to call this trending container in our JavaScript. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to say const trending container. Trending container equals to document dot query selector, and then we want to select the class name of trending hyphen container. This is what we want. Perfect. So the same as we did like the one, or the same as we did with the one of categories, it is actually the same way we are going to do with the one of our products. So no, I'm always ready. I have mine is also already here, so I'm just going to uncomment them and work with them. Okay. So this is my products. It has an image, it has a price, and then it has a name. So it is stored in a trending. So I have to come down here and say trending dot map. So we want to map through each item, and then in the item we want to store it in a variable called content, and then it is going to take this tilde or backticks. Inside the backticks, this is what we want to display. I just have to refactor this, so perfect. 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 So just bring this 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is what we want it to look like, and down from here we have to put our image. Remember, I told you this one before. I explained this one. So from now in this stage, you know what it is actually, you know how to work with it. So I'm going to say item dot, we have the image here, and then here I'm going to say item dot the name now, which is the name, and then here is the sellings, Uganda selling, or the price. I'm going to say item dot price, like this. Perfect. So we want to display now it inside our HTML. I'm going to call the trending container, and then I want everything its inner HTML to be plus equal to our content here. So if I hit save this and then I come back to my browser and see our browser is refreshing, after when it is done, then you can see we have all our products and everything is looking good. Everything is looking good. So I have a typo. I don't know why this one is kind of very big. Let me come back here. Let me come to my stylings. Okay. Let me search. Let me see the categories. The cut. I give it a flex. 0.5 pixel. Yeah, it is coming, and I'm seeing the images are kind of very big. Let me come and see the image. So category image, I can see I did not put the category image, that's why it is showing like that. It is showing some kind of big because I did not give the image sizes. So I have, I'm sorry for that, it's a mistake. No. So I have to give the class of cut, and then I want the images inside the cut. I want to give this one a width, and then the width is going to be of 30 pixels, and then I want to give it a height of also 30 pixels. After that, I want to give it a object fit, just to be cover, and then I want margin from right. Perfect. And then the margin from right, I'm going to give it 5 pixels like this. So if I save now, as you can see, perfect, that's what you want. Wow. Yeah, this is what you want, and application is taking place now, it is taking effect. Okay, and this one, it has to be RAM like that. Okay, yeah, perfect. As you can see, this is what we want, this is what we want to achieve, and it is the same like this, fully. So our application is now the same as we were expecting, and then the next thing is now to work on our footer. And if you scroll down, you can see, oh, what? Why is the footer so advanced like this? How can I come with all those? This is just SVG files. So everything I'm going to leave in the whatever in the repository, in the GitHub repository, and you are going to find everything there. So the link is going to be in the description below. Make sure to check on it. So let's come to now our HTML. So we want to work on what? We want to work now on our footer. So we have to first give it a comment. I'm going to say footer. This is first thing we want to put. So in our footer, we want to display, but before the footer, remember we have the SVG, right? So the SVG, we want to display it first before the footer. So I'm going to make it like this. I'm going to make a comment here and say SVG. So here I'm going to say, I'm going to give it a article with a class of SVG like that. So inside this article with the class of SVG, I want to put my SVG file here. So in my resources here, I have the SVG file for what we want to put, and the SVG file I give it a name of, let me see my SVG file. It is here. This is the SVG file. It is called footer Uganda new.svg. So this is the SVG file I want to use in this application or in this website. So here inside this article with the class of SVG, I'm just going to paste the SVG there, and then if I save and then come back here, and then scroll, I can see my SVG file is there. Perfect. So we have to now give it some styling to our SVG, and then work on our footer. Give some styling also to our footer, yeah, which is going to be perfect. Let's come here. I have to give it a comment first, and then I'll say SVG. So in the SVG, I have the class of SVG, and then I want to give it a display of flex. Why I'm giving it a display of flex? Because I want it to be in the center. So that's why I'm going to say justify content to center, and then I'm going to give it an alignment to center also. Alignment to center like this. So if I put this on align to center, and then let me first give it some margin, because there is going to be some space. That's why I don't want that space. So for me to do that, I want the margin from bottom, because the space is going to be in the bottom. So I want the margin from bottom of 3 pixels, just like this, minus 3 pixels. So if I come here, as you can see, our LVG is now in the center of our application. So that's what we want to achieve. So after now done with the SVG is where we want to now start working with our footer. I'm going to use a footer element. And then inside the footer is just containing the URLs, as you can see. So this is what we want to achieve also. So I'm going to put a UL, and then this UL is going to have some LIs, and then I'm going to say give it times 5 or times 4, but I'm going to give it 5 like this. The first thing is going to be about us. About us, we are a group of JiJi, and then about JiJi, and then we are hiring. And then we want some terms and conditions to be here. Terms and conditions. Perfect. So terms and condition, after terms condition, I want to give some privacy and policy. Every company has its privacy and policy, like that. Perfect. So this is what we want, and I'm just going to duplicate. I'm going to use this same thing. 1 2 3 4 5, but I want it to be 4 because there are 5 in number now. Yes, perfect. So the second thing is going to be here. It is going to be support us, or support. It is going to be support. The third is going to be our app, our apps, and then the fourth is going to be our, let me see in their website what is there in their website. Our resources and hotmails. Our app, our resources, and then hotmails. It is hot links, by the way, it is not hotmails. So if I save the file and then come to my browser, I'll let it refresh, and as you can see, I have all those ones there. So let me come to my CSS and manipulate some styling, give it some good styling. So here I have to come to my style, and first thing I have to give a comment and say footer here. So after using this one, I'm going to give it a class name of footer. Oops, it is actually an element, not a class. So I'm just going to say it is a tag name we are targeting. I'm going to say footer and then give it a padding. The first thing, I want to give it a padding of 2 rem because I want the space to be around our footer. And then I'm going to give it a background color. The background color is going to be the same background color as the SVG. So the background color I'm going to use, it is this color code 00 B5 B53 and then F. This is the color code I'm going to use. From there I want to give it a display of flex. After displaying it to flex, then I want to justify everything to be in the center. So justify content in the center like this. So let's see. Perfect. This is what we have now. Okay. Now we want to now target all the UL in our application. To target the UL, I want to first target the footer, and then inside the footer I have the UL. Why? From there I want to give it some flex. The flex is going to be 1 in every UL element. I want to give it a flex of 1. And perfect, it is taking effect, though it happened slightly. So everything is there looking fine. So from there I want to take all those dots you're seeing in the browser, in the UL, in the LIs. I'm going to say LIs, and then the first thing is to remove all the what? Is to remove all the list style. So I'm going to say list style to none. So if you don't know list style, you see this, those dots, it has taken them all already. So those are the list styles, and you'll just remove all those dots out to wipe all the default stylings. So I want to give it some paddings because things are kind of compressed in one place. I want to give it some space for breathing so it can breathe, and then let me change its color even from black to be white. So if I save and then come to our final file, and you can see, wow, we are progressing, guys, and our application is taking effect now. So what next we want? As you can see in the original site, this one has a different color. The titles here, it has different colors, so we have to also use, we have to put this one also with different colors. So in order for us to do, we have to use a pseudo element in our CSS. The pseudo element I'm going to use, it is called nth child, and then I want every child with the number 1. Every number 1 child, I want to give it a color, and then the color I'm going to give it, it is going to just be a simple green color. Perfect. If I save the file and then come back, you can see, so it has now different colors, and that one is amazing. Perfect. So what else do we want? We want, see, like, let's come back here. You can see here in our apps, it is what? It is there's icons and all those stuff, but this one is actually SVG icons. Okay, these are SVGs. So I have the SVG also with me. I'm going to use them. Okay, so the first SVG I have, it is for the Apple. It is the same one that they displayed also in their website. So let me use the one of Google first. Let me just copy this. This is the SVG file of Google Play Store, and then I'm going to come here, and where it says our apps, I'm just going to take this one, these 2 links out. Okay, then inside this link I'm going to paste this SVG file here. That is the first SVG, and then the second SVG is for App Store. So I'm going to come here and copy my SVG for App Store also. Copy it, and then let me come to my HTML. Okay, in my HTML, let me just scroll up. As you can see, the SVG is kind of way big. Okay, so here I'm going to use the SVG for App Store now, and I'm going to paste it here. So the one of App Store is kind of small, but yeah, these are the SVG files. So if I save the file and then come back to my browser, let me come and see. So perfect, you see, we have the SVG files are here, and everything is looking the same actually. There's no difference. Everything is actually the same. So the only difference is now there and the whatever the countries, and the countries what? The countries flag. The country flags. So it is the only thing now. So for us to do that, I'm just going to come down after our footer. I'm going to give it a class of list. I'm going to give a section here. It is going to be a new section, and then give it a class of list, just like that. So inside the list, I want just to LIs. I'm going to use 302. I'm going to use 302 whatever. Let me first put the LIs. I want 3. I'm going to use this three flags for different countries, but you can add as many as we want. I just wanted to give you the clue of what we are doing here. So the first country I'm going to use, I'm going to take the one of Kenya. Yeah, let me take the one of Kenya, copy it. So this is the SVG file of Kenya, and then I'm gonna paste it here. This is the one of Kenya, and then let me come and take the one of Ghana or Tanzania. I'm gonna copy this also, and then come back here and then put it inside this. Alright, so the next country I'm going to take, it is Ghana. So I'm going to copy everything also from here, and then I'm gonna paste it in my HTML. So these are the 3 countries I'm going to use their SVG, but you can put as many countries as you want. So if I come back to my application, you can see it is kind of messed up here. It is kind of way big and all those, So we have to now give it some styling to make it looks good. Let me first save here and then come to our CSS. Remember, we have the class of list. In this class of list, the first thing I want to give it a display of flex, because these are just LIs, so I want to give it a display of flex like this. Alright, and then I want to put everything to be in the center. I want to justify everything to be in the center, and then from there I want to give it some gap. The gap is going to be of 20 pixels like that. Alright, then I want to give it some background color, and then the background color, I'm going to use the same background color I used for the footer, which is this one, because they are going to be systematically. I'm just going to paste it like that. Yeah, so this is the background color I want, and then from there I'm going to take all the list, and then I want the LIs, all the LIs in the list. I want to take it's the default designing that is coming with the list. I want to take it off. Perfect. So from there I want to now target the SVG now, the real SVG. I'm going to say SVG like this. So I want to give it some what? I want to give it some styling now. I want to give it width, height. I'm just going to give it a width of 30 pixels, height of 30 pixels also, 30 pixels. And then I'm going to give it a border radius. Border radius of 50%. So if I save the file and then come back here to my browser, and perfect. See, we have the 3 countries here and they are looking nice. So thank you guys for being with me in this tutorial, and if you really like and enjoy this tutorial, and if you really learn something on it, just appreciate my effort for designing this kind of video, for making it for making it out there for you guys, so that you can learn something and can also build something in the real world. This is a real world application, and most of you guys knows JiJi. So please and please, I'm requesting you guys to like my videos, subscribe and share, and don't forget to hit the notification bell to get notified in case I drop any kind of contents like such content, so that you'll be the first person to also check out what I'm doing. I really appreciate you for staying with me up to this time, and if you really learn something, please give me a tap up and subscribe to my channel and share with friends. Love you all, and probably by 2 or 3 days I will also release a video concerning JiJi, like the other parts in JiJi, and make it looks good and all those. So this is the basic thing. I decided to design this one so that you can learn something. So I'm going to stop the video from here, and bye bye for now. Please subscribe to my channel. Bye.